Recording. Ta-da! We got it.
It.
Shoot, that means I'm the one that has to post. Do what?
You can send it to me, and then I can figure out the link.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're supposed to discuss task 1.
Yes, from the AAPTEL.
Hi, little girl.
Miss Laura, hey. You say
Hi. I like your bow.
What do you say? Thank you. Thank you. All right, go back in there. I'll be in there in just a minute.
Yeah, we won't be long. Okay, so this is for the AAPTEL Task 1, Zoom Team 3. So the content, I felt like your content was aligned with the course content and that you supported the information with your current research. Rubric strength, the evidence followed the template, the information flowed well, and the information in the narrative was easy to read and follow. You had some really good information in there. I enjoyed it because some of your research was different from mine. You had different authors, so it was helpful. Rubric weakness, of course, the APA formatting. There was some spacing issues, quotation marks. There was like you'd start with a quotation but then not finish, or you would not start with it but you'd finish with it.
Yeah.
Page numbers referenced, and of course, you know, the teacher survey wasn't present or attached. I think we both kind of fell there.
We did.
Your leadership was demonstrated through your research and explanation observation tool. The mechanics and grammar, so spacing, and I put a specific reference here. Room Team 241 continues to discuss that researchers have explored the connection. And then for direct quotes, use the page number quote is found on, and I'm as guilty of that too. I had forgotten about that. Organization, the evidence was well organized and it flowed and it followed the predetermined template. And then there were several places that there was a direct quote with multiple quotation marks, but there was no page number.
Okay.
But overall, I thought it was really well done. And I mean, again, you used some different authors than I did, but it seemed that they were all pretty much in line with the same things.
Yeah, I agree. And what I'm finding out is mine is I'm having to take my Google Doc and save it as a PDF.
Right.
And my PDF alignment is off. So I'm now trying to take that into Word and just work it in Word from my home computer. So hopefully that spacing issue won't be. And I'm going to be honest with you, even Dr. Hamilton, I don't know what I was thinking when if I would start it with the author states, I didn't even put the year. And I know you had said that. And I was like, and I went back and I was like, I did it right in my AAPTEL. Like,
right.
I don't even know what I was thinking. So, but thank you.
Well, I did a lot of the same things. And I think I kind of got out of, going a week without doing anything.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot.
Yes. And you're right. I noticed even though our research was different, like you said, they still said very similar things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because we all had the same headings, so it went.
Right.
So your areas of strength, my most favorite one was your building efficacy one, because I really felt like you defined it. And then your research just kind of strengthened that because you made a connection to it. It didn't feel like you were just stating research. You know what I mean? Like It wasn't quote after quote after quote. So you made real good connections with that.
And when I first started writing it, I actually had to ask if we had to put headings in because I was making mine flow. So I was trying to use connection sentences between one paragraph to the next or one idea to the next. And then I had to go back in and had to put figure out where the different areas were.
I mean, but it did, and that was something that I noticed. Within your headings, the headings. I mean, it defined
Yeah.
what the research was to make sure we had our three, but you made it flow. It just didn't seem very choppy
Well,
research.
thank you. I tried.
That was something that was good. I didn't. I know we have to find weaknesses. Weaknesses, just when you were doing your checklist, just like that brief narrative, just to explain about the survey, and then the checklist, and then you and I both didn't do the survey, so.
Right.
But I saw that you added it on the.
Yeah, on my new one, I went ahead and put it in there, but I was confused because it was in the helpful hints, but it wasn't on the rubric.
And so I had copied from the rubric.
Yeah, that's what I usually use when I'm writing, because I look at that 4 position,
Yes.
and I try to match everything that's in there.
But I had even taken a picture of the headings and how it was supposed to look. And when I went back, I was like, I didn't even put the survey in there. So that was something we both did, but we fixed it.
We did.
Strong leadership was demonstrated. Just because you had research-based evidence, and like I said, as one of your strengths, I thought it was a leadership strength that you made the connections between the research. Because that was something that I was worried about, that it was just going to be choppy research, but you made it flow really well.
Thank you.
There were a couple of spaces between your punctuation marks, but I mean, nothing.
Yeah,
major.
I noticed that too. When I went back after I got my grade on it, I was like, wonder how that happened.
And that's the thing. I don't know how it happened, but I mean, it wasn't anything major. I mean,
right.
I didn't notice any major. And I have to remember 2 spaces after sentences for APA. And then, I mean, everything was in logical. It was organized. It was with our headings. I guess how you did it first without the headings made that flow really well with those connections. But your heading, it was very easy to follow. Your checklist was very easy to look at. I understood your checklist.
Well, when I was doing research for it, I was looking for Marzano's stuff in a checklist, but in more layman's terms, so it'd make it easier to follow.
Yes.
And so everything that's on that checklist actually matches up with one of Marzano's high yield. So
yeah, it was super easy to follow. So when I pulled it up, I was like, oh, like you could take that easily and walk into a classroom and fill it out for a checklist.
Yep.
And then, excuse me. And then just the APA, we both did it with the papers.
I think we forgot how to use APA.
I think we did. But overall, this was easier from, like, I guess because our expectations from the AAPTEL. But your information was in there to a T. And like you said, our research was different, but it was so very similar.
It was very similar.
I'm hoping that this just kind of builds when we go into task, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and stop recording?
Sure. Okay. So let me